Hi guys, it's DBJ. Here's another house rule, and it's called d20 stacking. This comes from a little back and forth from Silverlock Shinbreaker and Blackjack Rabbit 1970, and this is about a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition d20 stacking. Stacking advantages and inspiration. And to summarize, in D&D 5th edition, if you have advantage or you use an inspiration point, you get 2 d20s and you take the highest roll. If for some reason in that situation there is a disadvantage, disadvantage and advantage cancel each other out. So in disadvantage you roll 2 d20 and take the lowest. With an advantage you take 2 d20, roll the highest. If you have both, they cancel each other out and you just roll 1 d20. Also, let's say the characters are attacking a giant and one player wants to be the victim and tries to lead the giant down the hallway, and the other characters tie a rope across the hallway so the giant trips, and the game master says, okay guys, to do this you have advantage to trip this person. According to the rules, you cannot then use an inspiration point to get an additional d20, making it 3 d20 to roll. And so the idea came up that can you d20 stack using inspiration on top of advantage, or multiple players using inspiration to stack d20s. I like the idea of stacking. It puts a lot more control into the player's domain. I like the idea of being able to use inspiration as well to have player agency. For example, a player runs into a wizard's lab and the player says, hey, I want to use an inspiration point to find some chemicals and mix them together so that I can throw them down a hall and make a stinky fog so it blinds everyone and we run away while the enemy, chokes on the gases or something. And I would allow that. I would allow some player agency to control the environment. Another idea would be the bad guys have kidnapped the princess and they're riding away on horses. And the player says, well, hey, can I use an inspiration point and jump off of the top of the castle and bounce off of an awning and land onto a horse to, run after them. And I'm thinking, well, you know what, that's cool and cool's the rule. So yeah, use the inspiration, sure. What the hell? Why not? But d20 stacking as well, I think is great. If you gain in the game, you gain advantage or can gain advantage when the dungeon master says that tactically what you've done creates a great idea and would give you an advantage in combat. In addition, the player could also have an inspiration point and want to use that to increase their chances, such as an archer shooting a dragon in the eye, or a cleric wanting to turn the undead, or a fighter needing to defend his party. And I think that's a great opportunity. I would add a limit of, say, maybe a stacking of 5. Or something to that effect. I would even allow stacking, so an example would be, in the case of the giant running down the hallway, I would even stack so far as to say that when the players work together, that each player that advances the story gets to stack their d20 for that player. So for example, the one player, the rogue, says, hey, I'm going to lead the giant down the hallway and let him chase after me. And then the wizard, the cleric, and the fighter say, well, we're going to grab the rope and trip the giant because we think this is a great idea. I'd allow the other players to throw their d20 in so that the rogue gets to make the roll. It was the rogue's idea. The rogue wants to lead the giant away, distract him so he doesn't see the rope and fall down. So yeah, the fighter, the cleric, the wizards get to throw their d20s to the rogue and say, all right, dude, go for it. I'd even allow that. Maybe that's a little too general, but I would like to hear what you guys think about d20 stacking. Also, what about disadvantage? It wasn't mentioned in the comments, but would you agree to d20 stack for disadvantage? Meaning that I believe in the game there's certain kinds of, let's say, armor. If you wear heavy armor, you have disadvantage on stealth. Would you then stack a disadvantage on that as well as maybe an additional disadvantage because the players are being loud as they're walking down the hallway and the enemy can hear them and fail the maybe fail their stealth checks or something? I don't know. What do you guys think about it? I like the idea of d20 stacking. I think it adds another dynamic, and especially as lethal as D&D 5th edition is at the lower levels, I would say probably between 1st and 3rd level, I would allow more of that at the lower levels, and start to fade it away or start to control it at the higher levels, considering the power levels. I haven't played any, epic level of, D&D 5 at all, or actually haven't played any of it all. But it's just more of an exercise in thought. So, love to hear you guys' opinions on it. House rule, d20 stacking, or advantage and inspiration stacking. What do you think? And let me know. My opinion is, I'd say go for it. I'd probably put a stacking limit of 5. But hey, that's just me. I'm just a dude. So anyway, create, don't destroy. Thanks for your attention.